welcome back to my channel. My name's Selene. I'm here to talk about all things fibre arts, crafts, fun things like that. Specifically, today is my podcast. Did I say that already? God. Let's honestly just hop right into it. I have one finished object, 1.5 finished objects, and then 2 whips. So let's get right on in. Okay, so first finished object, very exciting. I literally also had to go back and check what I had told you guys about because I did forget. I always forget. It's my crochet hexagon shirt that I made for my friend. Doesn't want to sit. Anyway, so this is technically a button-up shirt. It doesn't have any buttons, but it is obviously still wearable without buttons. Like, you can't even, I honestly was like, did I even put buttonholes in? Because I couldn't even see them. But there is buttonholes. But like, you can't even see it. But it's so cute. It is a crochet hexagon shirt with the collar. For my friend slash roommate. So the design was like how it kind of looked was based on him, and he wanted 2 blue stripes. There's one big one and then one closely up here, so it's also on the top of the sleeve. And then I did the collar all in white, and then he had tried it on, and he was like, I also had 2 extra rows, and he was like, it's too long. Also, I think a line of like blue on the edge would look good, which I do think it looks really good. I added 9 buttonholes to the front. It was just kind of how many, so I was like, I don't need to actually put, you can't tell where the buttonholes are, so I was like, I don't actually need to put all 9 if he doesn't want them. I also did a trim on the sleeves and on the base, which you kind of can't see because it ends in a blue row until you're like at the front down here. But then I didn't do it on the button band, obviously, because I did the button band last. So yes, it's very cute. I'm very happy with it. It worked out. I also haven't done, I just put this in the wash and dried it. It's not like fully dry, and then I have an iron out because I was trying to steam it / iron it, like the collar flat and the button band's flat, which kind of hasn't worked because obviously I want it to like sit, like these sit in line with the this side ones too, a bit more than this side does. But yeah, it's cute. And then actually this is the back. And when I sewed, because I sewed it together, when I sewed this bit in the back shut, it was like really pointy. But since putting it in the wash, it's pretty good. So I didn't actually even bring the yarn to show you. My bad. But this is cotton from Hobbii, the Cotton Kings, King's Cotton Cone 8/4, so 4 ply, in the shade 02 Milk. So it's basically white. I don't know if it was meant to be off-white or white, I can't quite, or if the other shade, but it looks really white to me. It doesn't even look off-white. Maybe on the camera, just because of how the lighting is, but in person it is white. And then this blue is the Hobbii Daily Stitch Cotton in 21 Admiral Blue, because it was very hard trying to find the blue that Connor wanted. I do have yarn left over, so I have, the thing is I need to weigh this because I actually don't know how much of the white yarn that I used. I know how much of the blue, because the blue came in little 50-gram balls, so I can just weigh how much of that I used. But I haven't, because it's a cone, I forgot to weigh the cone before I started the project, So I don't know how much yarn I've used, because I thought I was going to use a lot more than I did, because it's a 500-gram cone that has 1700 meters of fingering weight yarn, and I don't know how much I used. The blue yarn I used, so they're 120 or 130 grams. I think it's 130 grams of yarn. I had 4 50-gram balls, so I had 200 grams. I have a whole ball left, and then I think 20 grams of the other one. And I was also so worried because when I did the first half, because I had restarted this project, I think I told you. I think you knew. When I had restarted this project, I just used all of my little bits that I had, and I used basically like a whole skein's worth on just like this blue section, the first blue stripe that goes the whole way around. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I think I used most of the rest for the other blue section, for the second ball. Or I didn't, somehow. And I was like, oh, like, if I already used like a whole ball for this section, how much am I going to use on the second blue stripe? It didn't end up being too bad, like it. And then obviously I didn't use all of the yarn. And then the second half, so I was like, the second half, that first blue stripe for the second half didn't use a full ball. And I was like, well, I must have just, I don't know what I did. Yeah, so I used a 4mm hook. Yes, I used a 4mm hook. I was like, what did I use? And I also used a 4mm hook for the button band. Like everything was 4mm. I didn't. Sorry, I'm trying to make it sit. You don't want to see it. I don't have to get the iron back out. Oh well. That's very cute. And Connor really likes it. So that's all I can say. So eventually I have a little bit of scrap of the white to sew the buttons on. So that's all I have left to do. Is when Connor wants the buttons, I can put them on. We haven't bought buttons yet though. Yeah, I have 9 buttonholes. I'm like, I suppose I could just do 8. And I have like ones higher than he wanted, like he kind of like wanted. And I was like, well, I could put the button on. You just don't do it up. Like, she didn't even button any of my shirt today. Maybe not, but just don't do it up. Anyway, so that's my first finished object. My second finished object, which is also a whip, because it's half, I say like 1.5 finished objects. It's also a whip because I finished one sock. Why does this look so, why does the foot look huge? Anyway, so it's half finished object because I finished one sock of the pair. Yes, this is what I had told you about last month. This is the basic ribbed sock by Kate Athersley. Something like that, that's the pattern. I should write these things down, but I don't. In the Owl of Athena Romulus sock in the shade Lily Pilly Season. This colour, let me tell you, I love this colour so much. I'm not a big pink person. Like, I don't actually love the colour pink, except for like makeup or hair. That's the only time that I like pink. It's like, really? But this is not pink. This is definitely a pinky purple. Like, definitely a lot more magenta in shade. Like, it's definitely purple, but it's like that pinky, warmer toned purple than what I normally like. But I think this is so cute. I love this colour. I don't know, it's just so, there's something so, I could eat this about it. And I've been really into like warmer purples recently. Like, you'll see my other project is another like warm purple shade. But yeah, so a sock, and it fits. I tried it on, it fits. The foot is a little long because the toe looks like it is only touching my big toe. So it's like I get in the toe section, I get my big toe in, and then this bit just sticks out. How do I show you this? Yeah, or maybe like blank back there. My little, where I've grafted it together, obviously creates little points. I say obviously, I don't know how else to graft without getting the little points. I think there is a way, but And this is my second sock ever, pair of socks ever. So I'm still learning, I'm still trying things. I wanted to do something different, and I think I have I say five, I'm going to, like, the plan is to make, potentially, 5 pairs of socks this year. It might not end up being all 5 this year, like this calendar year, but the rest, like, the rest of the time that I'm in Canada, I plan to make, I have enough yarn to make 5 pairs of socks. So I've already done 1, this is pair 2, then I have 3 more skeins of yarn, and I'm kind of thinking to try something new with every single skein, is kind of the plan. So the first one was obviously vanilla sock. Well, yeah, potentially. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I might just also want to make more vanilla socks to try it. Because I just kind of want to try a bunch of different techniques and see which one I like the best and which one fits and all that kind of thing, instead of just finding one and only doing that and never branching out. That makes sense. So, also, but so far, everything I've made has been on 9-inch circulars. I tried to make this on, because this pattern's like, I'll use 2.5mm needles. And I was like, okay, I have 2.5mm, like, long needles, like 80cm needles. So I was like, oh, I'll try it for this. Try magic loop. Hated it. So then I was like, oh, I'll do DPNs. So I have 2.5mm DPNs. Also did not enjoy it, like, at all. So I was like, I'm gonna think back until, like, the first round, and then pick up with my, like, then knit with my 9-inch circulars, which are 2.25. And I was like, I'm just gonna deal with the fact these might be too small. Then I tried them on, like, partway through, and I was like, these fit. These fit fine. But I liked the 2.25, like, starting the round 2.25s. I did it with 1 row of 2.25mm for the starting round, like the very first row is also on 2.25s, and it makes it a lot stretchier, because this is just a long tail cast on, to get over my foot. So this does fit, it's very cute. The other thing, I also did, my other socks I had done 20 rows of ribbing, or 60 rows of leg, so that's 80 altogether, and this is a completely ribbed leg, and I was like, I kind of want it to be longer than those ones. So I did 100 rows, still like 20 rows longer. It looks so silly like this. And then these obviously aren't blocked, it's just one. The heel, so I'll just go down in bits. The heel construction was similar but slightly different to how I done before. My other ones I did was, you, like, 2 rows is 1 row. So you did slip stitches. So you would slip a stitch, knit, slip, and then on the back it's purl, like slip, purl, slip, purl. So you're but this one, I don't know if I was meant to do that, but it just kind of didn't tell you. So it was like basically just a stockinette panel. Actually, before the, it's like it's just a stockinette panel. There's no reinforced heel. And then the heel turn also was slightly different, and the amount of stitches you pick up for the gusset was, like, different as well. It was just fun to try, and I was like, instead of doing what I know, I'll do it this way just to see. I'm still working my knit 2 together decreases look very neat. I'm still learning how to make my slip knits neat. I don't know. If anyone has any tips, let me know on how to make slip knits look a lot neater. Confused, because if I knit 2 together, if I could knit 2 together on both sides, I would. But see, they do it for, like, leaning ones. It's not, this one's not actually perfect. I feel like my other socks looked better than this, but that's right. And then it was fun to try keeping the, obviously doing the texture on the top and then stockinette on the bottom. And then this toe was also slightly different with the how the rows work and the decreases and all that. I don't know if it made the toe longer or shorter, like longer than my other ones. I haven't actually measured. I should check, because the other socks, it's decrease round, knit round, decrease knit, decrease knit. And then this one was like, this one was decrease, knit 3 rounds, and then decrease, and then 2 for a certain amount of times, decrease 1 for a certain amount of times, and then just decrease until you get to certain amount of stitches. So I do think the toe is slightly longer, so maybe that is also why it's not fitting, because my other socks I did 72 rounds for the foot, and that fits quite well with the toe, but this toe might just be longer. So I should actually do less rounds, which I'm like even less rounds than what I was thinking, but maybe not. So this sock I did, I accidentally, well, I was just at work, which is when I knit these. These are my small projects, so I just knit these while I'm at work. So I knit this one. I was just knitting, and I was like, I should probably count how many rows I've done, and it was like 75 or 74 or something like that. And I was like, oh, I should do the toe. And I was bothered to think back to like, because normally I would do 72. My other socks I did. I say normally. My other socks I did 72, and they seem pretty good. They fit pretty well. I was like, maybe I should do. So my other socks, what I'm going to do is including the row of knits after the last decrease for the gusset, I'm going to do 71 in pattern, so with the texture on the top and the stockinette on the bottom, and then do 72nd round as the stockinette round before the decreases, so that there's just a nice line, like a setup round for the toe, essentially. So that's 72 and then toe, which hopefully, because I did 75 from after, it was like 74 or 75 after the last round of the decrease, so like the row after the decreases, or the last decrease, plus, and then plus the stockinette round, so I think that then added obviously a lot of length. So that's one, and then I weaved in all my ends. And that's one sock done. And I say all my ends, there were 2. So nice. Because on my last ones I did a contrast cuff, heel, and toe. And so there was obviously the start, and then where the colours change, and then where the colours change, and then where the colours change. So yeah. But yeah, then I finished it and I put it on and it fit, and I was like, woohoo! Because I was worried, because obviously this is on a smaller needle than what the pattern had called for, and I was just like, I don't know. But the needles I had, so I used them. I should get 2.5s. I also kind of want another pair of 2.25 so I could do the 2 at a time, but like as in you knit both at the same time, just on 2 separate needles. Then I have to split my skeins. I don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, that's the second / half a whip. Let's go on, no, finished object. Let's go on to whips, and I will keep talking about this sock, this pair. Yeah, so it's in my little bag, my little sock bag, and it's, hello. And it is looking like this. We're up to the cuff. Ta-da! This stitch marker is, this gold one, is denoting 40 rows. Don't ask me why it's 40, because I'm going to do 100, but that's just how many it is. 40. And then probably when I get to like 80, I'll put it on. I'll move it. 40, maybe every, I think I'll move it every 20, so when I get to 60 and then 80 and then be 100 will be in. It'll just be easier for me. So I did the same thing for this one as I did to the last one, which was I started it on 2.5mm needles, so it's stretchy. This is 40 something rows. 47. Well, yeah, 47 rows. Yeah, looking good. This is what my skeins looking like. Oh, it's a mess. Yeah, so this is my small project. So I'm doing very well actually, even though I have so much. I'm like, I'm gonna cast something on. I'm just gonna cast something on. I'm not. I'm just gonna make something. No, don't listen to it. It's the demons. Don't listen to them. I work on this. It's like my travel, my small project, something I can take on the go. I work on this specifically at work on Mondays because on Mondays I am in the warehouse. And pretty much I like have so much free time. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do some knitting. And I get a good couple hours in of knitting. And that's just on these socks. And that's how that's pretty much how I finished these ones. I finished these on Monday. Because I had gotten to, as I said at work, I'd gotten to the toe and started the toe, and I was like, I'm at the toe, it's not gonna take me that long, I'm literally just gonna finish them and weave the ends. And then I was like, and then I was actually going back to the warehouse on Wednesday because someone was off. So I was like, okay, well, Tuesday I'll cast on the second sock so that Wednesday I can work on them. That's what I did, and this is how much work I've done. Actually, I did a little bit of extra since then. But pretty much Wednesday I'd like cast them on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I did all work. Other than that, there's not much else to say. So yeah, I'm doing 100 rows for the leg. Then I'm going to do the same heel. And then do everything the same except for foot length. So I'm going to do, including the last row of the gusset decreases, I'm going to do 71 and then 70 in pattern, excuse me, and then 72 will be the stockinette and then toe. So it'll be a few rows shorter. Hopefully that means it'll fit. If it's a little too long still, like, that's whatever. I don't mind. And that'll be a sock. That'll be a pair of socks, which will be very exciting. It might take me a while. This sock took me about, I started at the beginning of June, and then it wasn't until the beginning of July. So it took me about 5 weeks of like working on it on Monday. five weeks of like working on it on a Monday. And then mostly pretty much. So yeah, I'm obviously expecting another like 5 days worth of work. Should be five-ish weeks. I luckily got a head start. Anyway, so hopefully by the end of August they'll be done. But we'll see. We'll see with other stuff. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2, I would say, is very exciting because I don't think you've seen this. Like at all. I don't think you've seen this at all. So, whip number 2. I finished this shirt. No, I don't think you've seen this at all because I finished my crochet shirt. My goal was to have it done by the end of June for my crochet shirt. I finished it June 29th. And I was like, okay, June 30th, I'm not going to do any crochet or knitting because in my head for like my plans, 1st of July was going to be my second, July was going to be for my next project. So I didn't do anything on June 30th. No knitting, no crochet, nothing. I was like, I'm going to take the day off, give these bad boys a rest. And then June 1st was Canada Day, so I had the day off. So I was like, I'm going to start my knitting project. Very exciting. So I have started, why is it inside out? That's why. So well, I have started the Cloud Top by PetiteKnit. Oh my god, that was hard. Brain was really working there. Am I holding it the right way? No. Ta-da! It is so cute. This is how much I've done since the 1st of July. This is going a lot faster than I thought. Where's the yarn? I am using Lion Brand Truboo in the shade Mauve. Yes, Mauve. And Truboo is 100% rayon from bamboo. And it's really silky and soft, and it has really nice drape. I should have brought a swatch because I made a swatch before I'd finished this. I'd made a swatch on 4mm needles was just what it called for, and then I was like measuring it, and the gauge is 20 stitches by 27 rows, and my row gauge, I was like unblocked, it was like 20 stitches, and my unblocked gauge was 24 stitches by like 30 something rows, like a lot, 35 rows, and I was like, ooh, my row gauge is so off, like why? So I did my gauge swatch. When I washed it, like blocked it, I stretched it widthways, which did not have to stretch very much, and then I was like stretched it lengthways to see how long I could get it. Would it be feasible? Should I go up a size? I was able to get it to like the 28, like 14 rows in 5cm, 28 rows in 10cm. I should have said in 10cm. I didn't make my gauge swatch enough, so. So yeah, it made it. I could get to 28. I was like, I can deal with 28. I can do the maths to make it 28. So, parts of this pattern is like, I'm gonna get to a certain amount of centimeters. So I'm knitting it to a certain amount of centimeters that I've mathed instead of actual measuring, because I was off by so much in my unblocked swatch. So this is, and I've got to say, one, this was heavy. Two, the swatch, once it's been blocked, has so much drape. It's so silky, so drapey. And so like this is so like, does have like, it does have drape, but it feel like it's so like stiff still. This is also my first time doing a European shoulder, so where you start with the back panel, and then you start with the back and then knit and then do the two shoulders, connect, knit for the armholes, and then connect in the round for the body. So this is, I can actually show you the back because you measure the length of the back. This is, by my calculations, 50 centimeters with the gauge of 28 rows per 10 centimeters. 50 centimeters. Now, is it actually 50 centimeters? No, it's like 43. It's about 7 centimeters off. So what I should do actually is I should see if I can stretch this. I'm at the point of, because the pattern says to knit to 56 centimeters or desired length. 56 centimeters for me was too long. Like a lot of my shirts I measured shirts that I have that I like the length of, that they are like come to kind of like just on top. Like they're like below my natural waist, but they kind of sit and go. Like shirts like this, like a cute little top. And that's how, yeah, they're around 50 centimeters. Some are even shorter. I was like, no, I think 50 is good. But trying this on, obviously it's like really short. So I was like, then I stretch it and I'm like, okay, looks like it should work. So I'm at the point where I've got to do the edging, where it's the knit, the ribbing, and then the rolled edge for the body, and then I pick up for the sleeves and the arms, and the neck, sleeves, the armholes and the neck hole. There's a lot of nice room in the neck. I was worried because obviously my gauge is off, like this neck would be a bit tight or anything, but it seemed really fine. I'm really happy with this so far. It's very exciting because it's like my first time making something like this, and it's like working really well. And I didn't even notice this in the actual pattern, but there is a pearl ridge bump shoulder detail. Didn't even notice it in the patterns, but they're like, this is the the shoulder detail, pearl bridge, and I was like, oh, didn't even know it was there. Maybe that's a bad thing. But what I will say though is about a European shoulder is the amount of freaking ends that there are that I'm gonna have to weave in, and I don't know how forgiving this yarn will be. But the colour is so cute. Now my other thing, excuse me. With this pattern, I've actually been timing myself because I've never made something like this. I've always seen people time how long it takes to make things. I'm like, I'm just curious. Like, how long does it actually take to make something? So I have been timing myself. I don't know if I actually have how long it's taken me written down. It's on my phone and I'm filming on my phone, so. But my, but like when I finish this, I'll tell you, I think, because it's very interesting. I gave myself in my head, like my schedule is 6 weeks to make this top. And then 6 weeks to make another shirt, like another vest, like more of a wintry vest. This is very summery because it is like a rayon from bamboo yarn. It's a lot more summery of a yarn compared to the next one I'm gonna make. 6 weeks, and I was like, it is like it hasn't even been, and I like knocked out so much of this within like the first week, and then I slowed down a lot just because I was even really tired this week. Like, I don't know why. It's been very strange. I've just been so tired, not been able to knit for very long. Trying to knit at all. I'm trying to be knitting, and because I'm timing it as well, I'm like, I'm just gonna knit for a little bit. And I'll knit for a little bit. And I'm like, oh, it's actually been half an hour. That's, you know, not a small amount of time. So yeah, you'll see that it's on scrap so that I can try it on, but I didn't want to put the whole thing on scrap because I was like, I'm lazy. So my other thing about this yarn was I have 6 balls of it, and which is about 1,300 meters, and I was like, this pattern is only meant to take at most 880, and I was like, potentially it won't even take that much, and I could see about potentially making another item. I was thinking of making the Lusk shirt, yeah, Lusk, by Rebecca Cray Bear Designs. Rebecca Clow, but I want to say Crow because it's Cray Bear. Anyway, that shirt, and I was like, well, if I don't have enough of this yarn, I could always just buy like a skein in a different color and do like a stripe. It'd be cute. But with the amount of yarn that I've used already, I don't think that's going to be an issue, because I brought 4 skeins with me, and this is the 3rd one, and I've just joined it on, and I'm pretty much ready to finish the shirt, which is only, it's like 10 rows maybe, and then do the armholes and the neck. And I was like, oh, that's not going to take a whole skein of yarn, because the first skein of yarn that I had, which did the gauge swatch, did the entirety of the back panel and the front panel and the front sleeves and panel. You can kind of see it here because I need to fix how they're getting weaved in together. I didn't do a very good job. Same as lower down, I did not do a good job. But it literally went to the last row where I had to start connecting things in the round. Like literally, it did all of that. And then the second one did pretty much all of the rows. Now, if I was doing the full length of 56 centimeters, even then it would not be that bad, because 10 centimeters is 28 rows, and this has done, the second skein has done like 50 something rows. So I'm like, the 3rd skein would have been enough like to finish this anyway, and it would not need the 4th skein. I don't know if the yardage / meterage is really off because you're using, the thing is, the pattern calls for 2 like fingering weight held double. Maybe also that's why my row gauge is really off, because fingering weight held double kind of takes up room differently than DK weight single, because this is DK weight yarn. But yeah, so like, and so I did the maths of like, oh, how much, it's like how many grams is it, and then divide by like / how many meters, and then divide that by 2, so that you would work out the like rough estimate of a DK weight yarn, and that was 880 meters. I was like, at most I'm going to need 880 meters, probably going to need less because it's a DK weight instead of 2 fingering. Anyway, it's like the maths just seemed to, in my head that just made sense. But yeah, I was like, I'm only going to need 3, which is like 600 and something meters, like at most. Which is good because the Lusk shirt is 680 meters, which is just over 3 skeins. And if I don't touch the 4th skein that I have, so I have 6, and this is the 3rd, so I have 3. And if I'm not going to finish this, then I have enough for that Lusk shirt. But then I'm like, do I want a shirt that's in the same color as this? Like a t-shirt. Honestly, yeah. I think that'd be cute. If I don't like it, just give it to someone else. Also be really, like, flowy and loose would be nice. That was the idea. Or I was also thinking I could make, like, something baby, a baby item with this yarn. Because I'm pretty sure you can. It's machine wash, cool, gentle, cycle, lay flat to dry. Because the colour is really cute and be like really soft for a baby, I think, because it's really silky. This yarn's a little splitty, but that's because it is, again, rayon from bamboo, so it's kind of like when a cotton is like multiple plies, where it's just, they don't stick together, it's just spun around each other. I don't know if I can have an end to show you. Yeah. So it's like multiple plies. So it does get quite splitty, and I have had, and I'm sure there are bits where you can see that it's not, like where I've, like here I have accidentally, can you see that? Missed one of the strings, well, the plies. But that's the nature of working with like a yarn like this, and I don't mind. It's really soft and silky, so it's very easy to work with, which is nice. The colour is cute. I love this kind of colour. The colours that they have are so cute. There's this one like light green called celery that looks really cute. I don't know if they sell this though anymore. I haven't really seen it. And there's a lot of people selling their colours. So I think for, yeah, like for baby projects or like really loose flowy things, like a skirt might be really cute out of this yarn because it's really like, it has a lot of really good drape. So yeah, something with a lot of drape, this would do really well with, but I think anything you want like with structure, this is not going to work because it's super flowy. So like the summer tops I think work really well because a little bit of flow. Or like a dress out of this would be really cute. But the other thing is it's also quite heavy. Like it's, like this is 200 grams of yarn, but like, you can feel it. It's crazy. But yeah, that is my second whip. It's going really well. I'm almost done, and I gave myself 6 weeks, and like, so mid-August, I'm like, this is going to be done before the end of July, I think. I hope. It should be. What I'm thinking is, in that case, I might, depending on when I finish it, I might give myself some time in between. Either it'll be the last week of July or the first, like the start of August, I'll start my next big project, and I might work on some smaller things, trying to get through some. I have some plans that I want to make. I have a lot of small things that I want to make. Or I can go back and start working on my balloon cardigan again. Because I also still have my balloon cardigan that I just haven't worked on. It's on, basically on pause. But I could always, you know, if I finish this with like a week, I could just for like a week start on the balloon cardigan sleeve, then put it on hold, and then go back, because the balloon cardigan sleeves are really nice. They're in the round, but they're literally, you pick up stitches and then you just knit a tube, because you do all the decreases at the end to make it a balloon. But I also am thinking of, I think the armholes are huge, like there's a lot of stitches, so I'm thinking of just doing like some rapid decreases for like a couple rows, and then doing, anyway, that's for when I actually do that. But I was thinking of that, or I was like, or I just start my other vest and just have it done sooner so I have more time to work on more projects. And then potentially, if I go to Knit City Calgary, which is a potential, I'm thinking about it, which is the end of September, I could buy some yarn and make some stuff. Maybe. But yeah, I also want to start potentially a baby project for my friend who is pregnant at the moment. Not right now, my friend is pregnant at the moment, so I was thinking of making her a baby blanket, but I need to know the gender before I make the baby blanket, because the yarn that I want to use, there is no like really neutral kind of colour. So also this baby blanket is going to be different to the last one. It's going to be a lot less work because I'm just going to make like in the round, go around with a patterned yarn kind of thing, so it looks impressive, but it was just very simple. So that's the plan for that, for her, for my friend who was pregnant. And then the thing is, I'm not going home until like May next year, and the baby is due in December, like. So what I'm thinking is then shipping it to back home, and then be like, Mum, can you give it to someone, or can someone come pick it up to give to my friend? So it means I also want to work on it like before she has like a baby shower or something before, so that she can have it for the baby, is the plan. She have a little baby blanket, that's what I thought. And that's also why I was like, now that I have a niece, I was like, this colour would be really cute for a baby knit, like a jumper or something. But I also might make that top. But I don't have all the, I don't have the rest of the yarn with me. I only brought the 4 that I needed for this top. So the other 2 are back home in Australia, so it's going to be a future thing anyway. So if I decide I actually don't like this yarn to wear, then I can make it into something else, or give it away or something, like do something else with it, which would be good. So that's the plans. But that is everything. I have no acquisitions. I'm not buying yarn at the moment just because I'm not trying to expand my stash while I'm here, because I have to transport it places. Potentially might go, I'll tell you if I decide to go to Knit City Calgary. And then future plans, I've kind of touched on what I might be doing. Who knows, I haven't quite decided. I think the next time I film, you will know like what my future plans are, because I think they'll be my actual whips and finished objects and things like that. So that's everything from me. Hope everyone's having a good day, good night. I don't know what time this is going to be coming out, so yeah, good to chat with you all. Hope you're all, maybe we'll have a good time. Okay, bye.